Hi everyone, welcome to Hein Academy, and in this video I'm going over zero product property concept and how it can be used to solve quadratic equations. So the concept is if a times b is equal to 0, then a has to be 0 or b has to be 0 to satisfy the equation, or a and b can be 0 to get 0. Now let's go with some cases to help you understand this concept. Case 1, we have two unknown variable being multiplied and the result is 0. If the first number is, let's say, 9, then in order to satisfy the equation, the second variable has to be 0 to get 0 as the result, right? Because any number being multiplied by 0 is equal to 0. So the first number can be 10, 15, 1,000, 1 million, whatever number. But if that number is being multiplied by 0, you get 0, right? So the next case is, again, two different variables being multiplied and we get 0. And this time, if the first variable is 0, then it can be any number on the second variable, we will get 0. Because any number being multiplied by 0 is 0, so you can fill any number, let's say 100. If 100 is being multiplied by 0, then you get 0. Now we will solve some factored quadratic equations to help you understand zero product property even better. And now, let's start with practice problem 1. So, when you see this term, x plus 2 times x minus 3 is equal to 0, we're using zero product property. Let's recall the concept a times b is equal to 0. Then, if that happens, either a is 0 or b is 0 to get 0 as a result. So in here, we have two variables, x plus 2 and x minus 3. So either this term is going to be 0 to get 0 on the right hand side, or second term has to be 0 to get 0 on the right hand side. Let's solve it out separately. X plus 2 has to be 0, or x minus 3 has to be equal to 0. So let's solve the value of x. In this case, we will be subtracting both sides by 2. So we get cancelled out, and the result is negative 2, or in this case, we will be adding 3 to both sides in order to cancel negative 3 and leave x alone on the left hand side. So negative 3 plus 3, they get cancelled out. So the answer is x is equal to positive 3. In order to satisfy this equation, x has to be negative 2 or x has to be equal to 3 in order to get 0 as the result. Now let's move on to the next problem. Now we have this problem, 3x minus 2 times 5x plus 1 is equal to 0. So the same concept that we will be using, and the concept is zero product property. So either 3x minus 2 is 0 or 5x plus 1 is equal to 0. So now let's use that concept. 3x minus 2 has to be equal to 0, or 5x plus 1 is equal to 0. So the next step is we will be adding 2 to both sides to cancel 2 here. So that will be 2 cancel out. 3x is equal to 2. And the next step is dividing both sides by 3. So we have x alone on the left hand side. And the answer is 2 by 3. And the next variable we have to solve is 5x plus 1 is equal to 0. So subtract 1 from both sides. We have 5x and we have negative 1 here. And to find x, we have to divide with 5 by both sides. So 5, they get cancelled out. Here we get negative 1 by 5. So these values are the value of x that satisfy the equation. Now let's check our solution whether those answers satisfy the equation or not. Now, so we will plug in x equal to 2 by 3. So the first scenario, when x is equal to 2 by 3, then we have 3 times 2 by 3 minus 2 times 5 multiplied by 2 by 3 plus 1 is equal to 0. So here in this case we get 3 and 3, they get cancelled out. So we have 2 here, so 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. And here we have 10 by 3 plus 1 is equal to 0. So here we don't need to solve this one because any number multiplied by 0, you get 0. So it's correct. And the next case is when x is equal to negative 1 by 5. And let's plug in to the equation 3x minus 2 and 5x plus 1. So let's plug in x as negative 1 by 5. So 3 times negative 1 by 5 minus 2, 5 times negative 1 by 5 plus 1 is equal to 0. So here we have negative 3 by 5 minus 2, and here we have 5 and 5, they get cancelled out. So we have negative 1 plus 1 is equal to 0, and here negative 3 by 5 minus 2, and negative 1 plus 1, we get 0 is equal to 0. And why I don't solve it here? Because I know that this term is going to be 0. So any number that multiplied by 0 is 0. So it's check. So these two numbers, x is equal to 2 by 3 and x equal to negative 1 by 5, satisfy our equation 3x minus 2 times 5x plus 1 is equal to 0. I hope it makes sense for you. And now let's move on to another problem. And now we have our problem 3 with 2x times x minus 4 times x plus 2 is equal to 0. Don't be scared if you have more variables in the equation because those are being multiplied. So you should see 2x as another variable. So you can see it this way as 2x is one variable, x minus 4 is another variable, and x plus 2 is another variable. So here we have 3 variables, right? Variable A, variable B, and variable C. So in order to satisfy the equation, either variable A has to be 0, or variable B has to be 0, or variable C has to be 0. So let's start solving the problem. So 2a is equal to 0, or x minus 4 is equal to 0, or x plus 2 is equal to 0. So in this case, we have 2 cancel out because it's being divided by 2. So we have x on the left hand side and we have 0 as the value of x. And now we have x minus 4, so we will add 4 both sides, and 4 cancel out, and x is equal to 4. And another one is x plus 2 is equal to 0, so we will subtract 2 on both sides. So 2 and negative 2 get cancelled out, so x is equal to negative 2. So the value of x is 0, or the value of x can be 4, or the value of x can be negative 2, and at the same time you will get 0 as the result. I hope these examples on zero product property make sense for you, and hopefully you will be able to apply it when you're solving quadratic equations. If this tutorials add value to you in some way, make sure you click like and subscribe my channel so that you can get more updates whenever I upload more math tutorials just like this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.